a sugar like container, pours out some sugar cubes, and puts them into his pocket.
What's
Isn't
that
that
all
weird?
about? Yeah, that is a little weird.
I didn't really get that. I'm like, hopefully that comes up later. But apparently, so he finds the victim was named Edward Blake, and he found the costume that seems he was the comedian. So even the masked vigilantes don't know each other's real identities.
Oh, I didn't
Which I
even
think
get
is
that.
interesting.
That is cool. Yeah,
So that kind of gives you an insight of how the masked vigilante world works. And it's not like, and so maybe some people were uncovered by the government and some people were kept secret. There's more to be found out about that.
There's more to be found out about that, but this guy doesn't want to have this conversation in his apartment. So he takes him downstairs. He says, let's continue this conversation downstairs in the workshop. I haven't been down here for years because nobody's doing vigilante stuff anymore. We're just all straight up citizens.
Yeah. But it seems like in his basement, he's got some kind of big thing.
Under a tarp
and
of
he's
some
got
sort.
like hooks, and it seems like that was when he was a vigilante where he'd do the serious work.
Yeah.
But now it's like dripping and dusty and that kind of stuff.
And yeah, they make a conversation about, this is pretty nasty down here. It doesn't look like you come down here very often. And he says, no, I don't. But there's also, so this is the building up of this story. Somebody's coming after, and this is the paranoid Rorschach speaking. Somebody's coming after,
the old masked vigilantes.
And what are you going to do about it, and how are you going to keep yourself safe? And
yeah, and so it's like he's going around to the ones he knows and giving them a warning that, because Night Owl first is like, it could have just been an ordinary burglar, and then Rorschach's like, what, an ordinary burglar killed the comedian? That's ridiculous. And he's like, it could have been a government thing, maybe it was a political killing.
He's had a lot of
Rorschach
enemies.
Doesn't have any evidence why it wouldn't be that. Really, he only has one example of a vigilante getting killed, and all of a sudden he's jumping to the conclusion that somebody's killing all the vigilantes. Which, maybe it's true, because otherwise why would we be reading this story, if it's just a one-off government killing? Don't you think? And I even like that Night Owl says maybe that's a little paranoid, and the paranoid's a little bit bolded.
Uh-huh.
Because it shows that, he has a history of being paranoid.
Uh-huh.
Is that, and how Rorschach replies is so perfect. He says, is that what they're saying about me now? That I'm paranoid? Is that what they're saying? That's such a paranoid thing to say.
And then Rorschach alludes that he's gonna go visit the older guy who used to be the Night Owl. And this guy tries to put him off the trail. He's like, you don't need to go bother that old man, You're
just gonna scare him, You're just being paranoid.
You're being paranoid, and there's the door.
Yeah, exactly. Why don't you leave out this tunnel? The way we used to work together, and then whatever happened, why don't we hang out anymore? And Rorschach says, you quit. And then there's these great 2 panels of, you see Night Owl kind of hanging his head, and then he sits down on a crate, kind of looking at the smiley face, glasses off, kind of looking a little disheveled, and the old Night Owl costume is standing over, like looking over his shoulder.
And what an image!
Great panel.
What a great panel! And I mean, like, it's a good setup, and we're not even halfway through. We're right at the halfway point of the book of this first issue.
We have a crime. We got the mystery. We got some characters. I mean, we have at least 3 characters developed.
Uh-huh.
And you're right. It's only page 13.
Yeah, and it's just such a neat book. It's just so, like, the story just engrosses you, and we've both read the entirety of it, so that it's we know what's to come, but like rereading it is just like
it allows you to go at a real nice and slow pace.
Exactly. And we took a little time tonight, and we'll have to finish this up.
Sounds good.
Next week.
So, Larry, if you were to rank this comic just on the first 13 pages, as if it was a whole first issue, should we do a ranking like that and then do a whole rank, like give it a little bit extra bonus after the fact?
I would
that
definitely.
Might be a little tough to do.
Well, I would put it up there. I mean, I would put it up into like I would put it in, definitely goes into my top 10, and
top 10 for sure.
And if we were putting it like give the art 8 and the storytelling an 8 at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I'd give the art. I'd give the art a 9. It's hard to not give it a 10, but 10, you got to reserve those 10s for something extra special.
Extra.
And I give the characters a 10, and I give the plot. Maybe I'll give the plot an 8. So it's tough to compete with.
All right. Well, we'll continue this conversation and continue this rating that we're really gonna have a hard time with, because it is a great book, and I do want to also mention that a bunch of books are DC books are. This is a DC book, are available on Comixology Unlimited now. They dumped a ton. There are 208 DC books that they put up just in the last couple days. So dive into it, but definitely pick up Watchmen. It's free.
Sweet.
So we'll get back together next week and enjoy the rest of this book.
Cheers.
Cheers. My wife just got on a conference call upstairs. I can hear her talking.
Oh, perfect timing.
Perfect timing. 2 conference calls. All right, everybody come back next week and continue with us and Watchmen.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah.
Before you leave, I want to talk a little before you
okay.
we exit out.
All right.